episode of The Pulse. Of course, you know it's your boy, the Bishop, and I'm here with this awesome cast of characters, and we're going to get into some introductions. But first, we want to take this opportunity to thank you for watching our premiere. And it was so big. Thank you for all the responses, all the love, all the well wishes, all the encouragement. We appreciate. And we want to make sure that you stay a part of who we are here at New Kingdom TV. So we want you to subscribe to us on YouTube. We want you to follow us on Facebook, follow us on IG. But enough of that. Let's get into this conversation. You know I got the cast of characters here. Wonderful group. Do me a favor, ladies. Either one.
It's your girl, boss lady. How you doing? It's Samir.
Hey everybody, it's Armani, Afro.
Fellas.
Good evening, everybody. It's Dre.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Piano Band, a.k.a. Corbin.
Let's get into this thing. Let's check some vitals. And I think everybody, I was getting a lot of feedback about us, how we segmented our show last time. Let's check some vitals. Right now, it seems like these rappers are out of control. If we was going to title this particular conversation tonight, let's title it Rapper's Delight. So, these rappers are out of control. Let's check some vitals. Of course, leading the way right now is rapper NWA founder Ice Cube. They say Ice Cube is tripping. Today ain't a good day for him. He is wilding out. He out here talking about all types of stuff about Trump support and things of that nature, about a document that was written and things of that nature. And there is some blurred lines along those lines. We'll get into him. We'll talk about Diddy and his party he trying to have. Talk about 50 Cent tripping. Talking about he's totally pledged his support for Trump because he ain't trying to get none of his money taken away from him. And then we'll finish up on a high note. We'll talk about Killer Mike and what he's trying to do to push the economy of black ownership. And of course, Rick Ross, he done brought some property down in Georgia, and that's a big thing too. But let's get into this Ice Cube situation. Piano Man, start us with Ice Cube. What's going on with Cube? Everybody's confused about Cube. What's going on with Cube?
So, essentially, and let me just set the record straight. Y'all know me. I'm always going to bring the unpopular stance, unpopular opinion, because I got to be, straight up with the courage of my convictions. To be honest, I don't see an issue with Ice Cube. I don't see an issue with him trying to, and allow me to play devil's advocate for a moment. I don't fault him for trying to do what he needs to do at this point to rub shoulders or shake hands with whoever is going to put us in the best position as a community to move forward. When you look back over the years, and I mean, I'm going all the way back to the early 1600s when the founding fathers founded the country, they have been so divisive and so divided, rather, over how they wanted to treat our people, to even where, we get into like the 3/5 compromise, and then you get into controversial statements from Abraham Lincoln of, if I could keep the Union and keep slaves, or if I could, just have all slaves but preserve the Union. There's never been a consistency with somebody who's on our side in the government. And so I commend Ice Cube for taking the initiative to actually want to hold government accountable. Remember, the Democrats said no at first. He approached them. They said, look, let's wait till after the election. Donald Trump and the Republicans, be it as it may be a little sneaky that they're trying to, side with African Americans now before the election to get our vote, cough, cough. But
so platinum plan.
Exactly. But, I mean, at this point, y'all tell me, what else are we left to do?
We want to take it.
I don't know. I feel like I agree with what you said in the sense that there's never been anybody on our side. If we look way back when, like you said, there's never been anybody on our side. So I guess my question would be more so, what makes him think that now would be the right time? What makes him think now there would be any opportunity to get somebody on the other side who's willing to work? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think maybe his timing. I think his timing with the climate of the country and how everything looks. I think his timing, when people talk about perception is reality, I think it's the perception of what it looks like, because CNN jumped down his throat, and they were even talking about a CNN ban, but then he got that straight. So I think there's a lot of misunderstandings with Cube, and I too echo the same sentiments. I side with Cube because he's saying, listen here, and what I've been taught even as a community leader It's about having a seat at the table. And Cubans is like this. At the end of the day, having that seat at the table, if that means whoever becomes king, I don't have to get up if I've already put my placemat down, my spoon and my fork. I don't know. Ladies, talk to me.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because you can say whatever you want about him, but who else is doing anything? I mean, who else is trying to create something for black people to move forward? Who else is creating something for our people? Who else has ideas? Who is even saying them? So, like, at least even if he just voiced his opinion, it's more than what most people are doing. It's cool to pay for somebody's funeral and give their child a scholarship, but how about preventing that situation instead?
Wow,
Come on now, Samir. I was just going to.
I'm just saying.
Look like you got some ice cubes going on. Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
saying, you know,
Today gonna be a good day for you.
create legislator. Like, we need to get into the legislation of things, and that's what he's trying to do. Do I believe that the Republicans are going to follow through? Yeah. But at least
Debatable.
he's trying, and we can't fault someone for trying, because that's the issue. We have all these different celebrities, and they have a lot of money, and they have a lot of pool, and if we can get them to all get people to pop, lock, and drop it, how about we get people to do something that they actually need to do? I'm just saying. I mean, he's already done that. He's already had people going down the street, and best believe I will be one of them, riding down the street. Today is a good day, but I also would like to do something that is appropriate for my people. So, yeah, use your platform appropriately. So, I mean, they can give him whatever flag they want. Yeah, the Democrats didn't help him whatsoever, and they still talking about they don't want to. And the Republicans said they would, and we still haven't seen the proof in the pudding, but he's trying.
Now, I was going to say, with that, when you mention about all these black celebrities with all this money, why can't we all bring our money together and create our own black America? Because to me, depending on the government, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, they a little sneaky. They are. And of course, you're going to still have to figure out some ways of how to compromise. But they have enough money that they can start doing something with, you know, black America. Look at Akon. He's over there creating a Wakanda 2.0 in Senegal. And he's almost done, actually. And so I've read an article about that, and I was just looking at how he's able to pool his money and try to create a better environment for black people in Africa. So we just have to figure out ways of just bringing our money together to make a better black America.
Bishop, real quick. Let's put a quick disclaimer. Ice Cube is not going around saying, hey, everybody vote for Trump. He's not soliciting that. He's more
Like
so
Kanye.
exactly.
Oh, sorry.
He's more so soliciting, hey, now is the time where we actually hold these people accountable. And a lot of people are not going to like this, but unfortunately, Donald Trump makes this statement all the time. What do we have to lose? What do we have to lose actually getting involved in holding people accountable?
And we don't hold anybody accountable. That's the main problem.
I don't know. I think my issue is we're fighting and we're discussing for a seat at the table, and we want to be in the government, and we want to get in there so we can get in and fix it. But I think it's a bigger issue than we can get inside and fix. I think the system is fundamentally broken, and getting inside and getting a seat at the table, we don't need to sit at the table. We need to take the table down. We have to start over. I think it's a bigger issue than trying to get in there and rework something that's been broken from the beginning. Like, the system has never worked for black America from the very beginning. So how can we think now all of a sudden we can get in there and try to rewrite a couple laws and rework a couple things to rework the whole system to work for black America? It's not going to happen.
And their word is reform. That's the word they like to use.
She's going to be confirmed.
But we have to also,
Unfortunately.
we also have to take into account that we said it last time. It's the haves and the have-nots. And that's what I mean by put your money where your mouth is, because those congressmen make a certain amount a year, but they're worth billions. So who is giving them the billions? If we have the billions to give them, then give it to them. I mean, if they already buying out what they want, why shouldn't we? I mean, if that's the way of the world and the world we live in, if I had $1 billion, would I buy a congressman? Yes, because I would get what I want. That's what they're doing. They're
Right.
already yeah, we are trying to get a seat at the table, but we also have to be honest, and we want to flip over the table and change the table or whatever. But we also have to be honest that Black people don't put their resources in the way that they need to. They don't.
Wow, that's a great place. Listen, we're going to come back in a minute. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Diddy wanting to party with a purpose, if it is a purpose to party about, because he want to party like it's his birthday. And we're going to also talk about 50 Cent. 50 Cent tripping. We're going to find out why 50 want to party like it's his birthday, but there's nobody celebrating with him. It's his party, and he going to cry if he want to, but he look like he going to be partying by himself. We'll be right back. It's The Pulse, baby. We just getting started. Boy the Bishop, listen, New Kingdom TV, along with me, your boy the Bishop Entertainment Group, we're back and we're better than ever. That's right. We're coming back with The Pulse of the People, Season 2. Enough about that. I want to introduce you to what's new on New Kingdom TV, and that is The Pulse. We're going to be a little innovative. We're going to be a little bit confrontational. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk about what is relevant and what's going on in the world today. But it ain't just going to be me. I brought some crazy people, good friends of mine and family along to go along this ride with you every week. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be off the hook. I got my girl, Samia. You're going to love her this season. Make sure you watch.
It's your girl, Samia. You know the boss lady, future business mogul. I'm out here just making sure my community is completely holistic. Finances, business, family, whatever it might be, that's me.
I got my soul sister, that's right, soul sister, standing tall. I got Armani, she's off the hook too.
Hey, it's your girl Armani. I am the pro-black activist. I'm here to talk about controversial issues, bring social justice. I'm here to put my foot on the necks of white supremacy and institutional racism and bring power to the people.
Listen here, every week you're gonna love this part of it because I got my son along for the ride. His hair, you're gonna love it, it's gonna be off the hook. Javondre's in the house.
What's up, everybody? My name's Shavandre. I'm your pop culture guru. I'm here to bring the energy. I'm here to bring the creativity, and I'm switching up my opinions like my hair color.
Round it out, I got the piano man. He can't just play it, but he can speak it. I got Rashawn.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? My name is Rashawn Corbin, but everybody calls me Corbin. I'm one of the co-hosts this season on The Pulse, where we're going to be talking about real issues, real people, real topics, because it's really necessary. Listen, I'm an in-your-face type of guy. I'm brutally honest, but at the end of the day, I do it because I care an extreme amount about my people. So if you care about what's going on in this country, join us every week for this special season of The Pulse. Tune in.
That's the cast in a nutshell. Make sure you watch us every time we come on. It's gonna be off the hook, baby. It's The Pulse. TikTok, let's roll. Thank you so much for staying with us here on The Pulse. We are talking today, title of our conversation today, Rapper's Delight, and we've already talked about Ice Cube, and I think we've come to some kind of consensus that Cube is not wrong in his attempts to try to shed light on some things. But let's talk about, let's go there with what Diddy is trying to do. Diddy is trying to do whether he's trying to compete or create a lane. I think it's a little bit of both, competing and trying to create a lane, what he's trying to do. And then let's go over and talk about 50 Cent, because 50 Cent has just come out and just has been open about the fact that he's pledging all of his support for Trump based upon reading Joe Biden's tax proposal or tax agreement. He's trying to save some of that money he made from Get Rich or Die Trying. He ain't rich like he used to be. Let's start the conversation here, Armani. Let's talk about Diddy and what he's trying to do. Shed some light there, and then we'll go ahead and dialogue about it.
Well, his name ain't Diddy no more. He calls himself Brother Love. But
Papa Diddy Pop. That's what his name was.
Most recently, that's his
Papa
name.
Papa Diddy Pop. Yeah.
But
Mama named Clay. I'ma call him Clay.
Right.
Sean Combs is what I know. Okay.
He got like about 3 different names, but we're going to just call him Diddy for now. So he just announced, I believe, last week about creating a new party called Our Black Party. So separate from the Democrat Democrats and the Republicans, and he was saying that this is all focused on pushing the black agenda, which is great, and I love it because this is the first time ever that black people are able to separate themselves from the two dominant majority parties that has controlled this country for so long, and we've never seen any type of like major progress with either of those parties. We were Republicans in the beginning, and then we switched right over because, you know, the Democrats try to, you know, make everything better again, and then we switched over to Democrats, and here we are today voting as Democrats or either independent. But Diddy, what he's trying to do is, I guess, I didn't read up on everything, but I've seen that he's trying to push the black agenda with different things. He said if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, this is all to push the black agenda. So I think it's a good idea for us to have something of our own that we can try to figure out what's the best thing for us economically, politically, maybe even separate ourselves, because separation is good, you know, and it works out for us in a way that we have our own spaces and our own ways of producing good things in our environment.
I want to pose this, and somebody pick it up. I want to pose this question, and I pondered it just the other day. Is pro-black, is it too, can we be to the place where, because I remember in the era where everybody wore the X hats. I don't know, y'all might be too young to remember that kind of stuff. But people wearing the X hats and the Malcolm X, and they had the African medallions around their necks and this and the third. It was more of a it was more of a fad back then. We were just wearing it because it was cool or whatever. Public Enemy was out there and they was fight the power. Boom, we just look cool. But it is funny that we see this thing go full circle. Do you feel that pro-black has become a small way for people who have already capitalized off of our style, all of our charisma? Is it a way that it's going to become mainstream to where, you know, it doesn't matter? I listened to the whole thing that Diddy said, it's easy for him to put out an idea about a movement. But the question is, who's going to lead that movement? Because we have that crab in the barrel mentality. And I'll leave it there. Let's go there for a second. It's too pro-black positive for us even now.
So I know that a lot of people will disagree with me, but I am anti with the pro-black situation. I went to an HBCU, and of course I grew up in Anne Arundel County, so of course it was very appealing, extremely appealing when I first came to Del State, and they're like pro-black this and pro-black that, and the white man is the problem, and blah 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 blah. But my Christian self. My loving self, I would not be Christ-like if I segregated myself, doesn't allow me to be pro-black, because I have white people in my family, and I would never deny the white people in my family. So if I wouldn't deny them, why would I deny others? And there's people that are white that I love, and there's people that are black that I love. I judge people by their character. Now, do I agree that our legislator purposely breaks down the black community? Of course. But I would never consider myself pro-black because of situations like that. So you know, Diddy's like, oh, well, I'm gonna make a whole pro-black party, but how is that gonna be up on the ballot?
So my question is, I think the issue we're having is conflating being pro-black with being anti-everything else, and I don't think that's the issue that we're having. I think that pushing black ideas and pushing the black agenda is not necessarily.
I'm just going off what she said.
Of course, but I just in general, not to you specifically.
Right.
But I think there's often this idea that pushing black ideas is automatically saying that we need to be ahead and in front of everybody else, and we have to do this first. And it's not necessarily all of that. It's that not all black life is the same, obviously, but there is a common. What is the word I'm thinking of?
Thread?
No. A common.
No.
I tried.
There's this. Okay. From the top down to the bottom, we know that black people are at the bottom of the pyramid,
right.
obviously.
Right.
So I think that saying that there needs to be less of a pyramid is not necessarily saying that we need to push everybody else down, but saying that, okay, we need the same
as everyone else.
I don't think this is coming out the way that I need it to, but yes, essentially.
The playing field needs to be level.
Yes,
exactly.
level the playing field. Level the playing field is not necessarily saying that,
But I often hear people who are pro-black say we need to be segregated, we need to be separate, we need to have our own, and I understand we should have our own, but at the same time,
how are we going about it? Are we having our own so that we can keep others out? Or are we having our own to bring us up?
So,
That's
yes.
a whoa.
Yeah.
Now that
Yes.
right there is major, and I think that sometimes it's we don't do it correctly because we've never had anything. We mismanage, and so that's why I don't really do the whole pro-black thing because we mismanage. It's more so we do it to get in place so we can open the gate and say, hurry up, come on in. Like you get the job at McDonald's, and McDonald's is a major company, and then all your homeboys come to McDonald's and you giving them free burgers and fries. You lose your job, but then your homeboys don't have to worry about it. It's like, yo, they don't do it one time. They try to do it every day
And if
when
I
you
could jump
working.
in,
So it's like, yeah.
absolutely. And so just to jump in and to continue that exact same sentiment, Bishop, I'm also not traditionally pro-black, but I do believe that right now is the time where we can no longer talk about anything else. We have to talk about how black people are viewed and whether or not we are really experiencing equity in this country. Consider this. How many black bodies have we seen hanging around our country ever since this George Floyd, thing came to light? And then just to find out that they were ruling those suicide. You see what I'm saying? Even in this Breonna Taylor case, we have a police officer who was charged for the bullets that missed her body rather than the bullets that actually hit her body.
Yeah.
That tells me that the conversation right now has to be focused and centered on how black people are viewed in the United States. So it's not that we're pro-black, but it's about doggone time that we say, look, we're tired of being killed. We're tired of being marginalized. We're tired of being disproportionately affected by any and everything that hits the United States. So no, I'm not pro-black, but it's time to shine some light on what's going on with our people.
Now, speaking of shining light, 50 Cent feel like it's time to shine some light because he feels like, gosh darn, I done work for this money, and so I don't understand. I mean, I understand 50, but I don't understand 50, and I don't think that 50 is keeping it 100 because he's saying, listen here, it's about party preference when it comes to the extent of me continuing to live the lifestyle of partying like it's my birthday every day. So what does that say to people like us who work regular jobs and who don't make 6 figures or 7 figures, and yet and still we have to bear the blunt or the burden of paying the taxes? We don't get the tax breaks that people who make in those areas. What does that say?
Well, I'm going to be honest, and this is from preacher to preacher. Scripture says that the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. So that tells me that this man would rather support, because remember the statement, not all Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Trump supporters. Obviously, 50 Cent as a black man can't be considered, or technically we wouldn't automatically come out and call him a racist, right, in his support. But I would actually not say that he's a racist, but he's really not pro-black or pro our community. He likes us because we're renewing our Star subscriptions every single month. He likes us because we're pouring our money into, supporting every single endeavor he's doing. But now at the time where, our community, a community that's been beside you since you were shot, 9, 10 times, right?
Right.
This same community, at the most important time where you can stand up and advocate for us, you choose to choose the money that we continuously gave you. You choose to choose that because you want to party when the same people in your community, I guess that, the workers that are going to go work your party, there are somebody that's going to work some of those parties that he's having. They're going to walk home and be robbed. They're going to walk home and be mugged. They're going to have to walk home and, get to a home with no food inside the refrigerator. And to know that he's choosing that lifestyle by keeping this, because that's realistically, that's what they're looking to do. With this guy going in office, and again, I'm not endorsing anybody, but from what we're seeing, all the guidelines that, he's trying to put in place, remember, Donald Trump has selected now over 218 federal judges. 218 federal judges. Who do you think they're coming after? And so, exactly, so why would somebody who claims to be a pillar in our community support us? Why would he come out and say something like that?
That's the point. The people who have the money do not support us, but we continually support them.
I think we have to change our stance in how we support people who don't, because at the end of the day, let's think about it. The person at the top is not feeling it, but the people who are underneath them feel it the most. There are people who are going to spend there, and people used to do it a long time ago. They spend in there $16.99 to go get that CD. Now you can download stuff, but still, like you said, the subscription to Stars and all those kind of things. There are people who have to get their power fixed or have to, whatever, and they can't even afford to keep the cable on. 50 Cent ain't gonna pay nobody's cable. Or 50 Cent will come to, a couple years ago, will come to Pumphrey, Maryland at a liquor store to push his alcohol, push his vodka, but wouldn't dare stay long enough to shake hands with people who want to take pictures. So at the end of the day, he got in his car, he got out the car, everybody was, oh, it's 50 Cent, and he said, do me a favor, this is my new vodka. Boom, he jumped in the car, and people stood outside in line for hours just to go in there and buy vodka that, number one, they probably couldn't even afford. Number two, they couldn't even pronounce the name.
Right.
I was just going to say, like, with...
Right here in Pumphrey, Maryland. He was here. 50 Cent. Dang. I ain't go see that clown. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
I ain't go see him. But anyway.
I don't think anybody wants to. I think that when somebody finally makes it to the top in our community, a lot of times we forget where we came from. So we just like, as soon as we get the money, it's boom, like, I've made it. I'm not worried about y'all. Y'all can do what you got to do to get your own, because I'm not worried about reaching down and picking up my brother or sister. I'm worried about getting mine. Me and my own is going to get, we're going to be good, and everybody else can figure out how to get there themselves. So I think that's what the problem is with 50 Cent. Like, he's gotten so money hungry that he's gotten used to profiting off of the black community, with us, obviously supporting Power. I don't watch Power, so I don't watch your show. I don't support your music. I don't listen to it at all. Sorry. Regardless of how appealing it is, I'm not going to support, because it's just putting money into his pocket, and you're basically trying to, it just, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I will not watch it.
Generational wealth is kicked in the butt before it even gets to us, because people up top ain't sprinkling it down, and then we not even sprinkling it to.
But I just want to say the reason why, like, we're so appealing to, we appeal to those things is because they make it appealing. So obviously they're gonna make Power is because he puts all this stuff in there and grabs our attention. So when it comes to the music, other rappers and artists, they do the same thing, and that's why we support them. It's a, I don't know, it may be something in the camera or the music or whatever we listen to, but that's the thing that they're doing. They're going to grab your attention, and you can't stop supporting them, and then that's how they get our money. I mean, that's.
I'm still going to call Stars in December and say, go ahead and start my subscription.
So real quick, listen, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back. We want to talk about that piece. We want to close out the show by talking about that piece. Killer Mike has done something revolutionary. Rick Ross has done something revolutionary. They have put money, and they're putting money back into our communities, and they're going to start, I believe, a legacy that's going to supersede. We'll be back in a minute. It's The Pulse. Stay where you got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, hold on. I'll take that question in a moment. All right, give me a second. Listen, as we approach this season we call the election season, we here at New Kingdom TV, we want to make sure that you are exercising your right. It is important, after all that our people have gone through, to make sure that you have the opportunity to exercise your right. Now listen, I know that years ago, or a year ago or so, you were digging the craze of what was called the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Some of you stood in line. Some of you went across town. Some of you put your children out of the car to stand in line to get this sandwich, all because you wanted to experience the experience. Listen, it's no different than voting. I know and understand that there are going to be long lines. I know and understand that there are going to be people who are trying to sway you or deter you from doing what you have been given the right to do. But can I tell you that I advise you? No, matter of fact, no, not even that. I beseech you to go and exercise your right to vote. I don't care whether you stand on the blue or the red, you must vote. At the end of the day, we must command the respect of both the Democratic and the Republican Party. So regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, regardless of what your belief, regardless of what your background is, it is imperative that you vote. If you stood in line for a sandwich, you can stand in line to vote. So in this season, take the time, November 3rd, or wherever you're watching us, where early voting has started or already have taken place. Take the time, take the day, and vote. Your vote counts. Long overdue. It counts. Get out and vote. It's your boy, the Bishop, and I approve this message. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, we're back, and we appreciate you taking your time to watch us here on the Pulse of the People. Listen, I want you to do me a quick favor. I need you to go ahead as soon as you finish watching, or even while if you can split your screen, go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are New Kingdom TV, and we are here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. So listen, real quick, we got to go. Before we leave, I want to drop this mic drop moment today. So we've seen recently, we've seen Rick Ross and Killer Mike. Killer Mike has a wonderful show on Netflix. Y'all need to go check it out. And so these two gentlemen are pushing the black agenda through a few ways by, number one, educating economically our people, getting us empowered to understand our power in economics. Real quick, I'm gonna go around the table. I just want you to give me a few moments about education, our education now in economics. We're gonna be given, I said it before in a prophecy, that God showed me 5 stimulus checks are coming. There's a hang up about the second one, but it's on its way. But I believe there's gonna be 3 more following that. And I believe the wealth is the amounts are going to get higher and higher. What do we do with the money? Stop with the seafood bulls. Let's start there. Stop with the temporal things, and let's start thinking long term. Some people should be able to take some of that money and put some money down on the house. That's my spiel. Let's go here. The wealth is coming. How do we invest it in our community?
Well, immediately, and I speak for those who have children, you got to start college funds right now. I know we don't like to talk about this. You also have to make sure that each and every one of your family members, to include your young children, have life insurance policies. Far too much do we allow.
I knew she was going to talk about that.
Far too much. No, for real. Do we allow our community and our children to be burdened, you know what I'm saying, by funeral expenses, or, you know what I'm saying, them having to nickel and dime. Exactly. Go fund me. I can't stand that. Jesus. Call Prime America. Do something, sit down and talk about this stuff. Well, you know she's going to talk about that, but we got to start investing in our long term. That's how we're going to get it done.
Right. So generational wealth, that's what really separates us from everybody else. And it's not just the white, Asians, everybody concerns themselves with what they're leaving to their children. But often we're not ever leaving anything but debt to our children. We leave them with the bill. We leave them without any way for them to be buried, like he said. I was talking at lunch today with a coworker, and a man is leaving his family $2 million in life insurance and annuities. They don't have to worry about anything for a while, you think? So if you have some money, whatever we get, take it and buy something, invest it in something. Ask me, I will help you, no problem. There's so many different things we can do. So generational wealth created.
I was going to say, to use your money, create a family business, because what we can do with that, you're turning your money and you're multiplying it. So each family should have some type of business where they can pass it on to their children so that they have something to hold on to and they can actually still make more money out of it. Because you can still invest, of course, but having your own business is great as well.
Mm.
Tying it back to what Bishop was saying about Killer Mike, he's working to start a banking institution for the black community and keeping our money within ourselves. And although I personally don't believe black capitalism is the answer to all of our problems, I do think it can be part of the solution, you know, pooling our resources together, like what Samia had said earlier, pooling our resources together and working together to push our own black agenda and pushing, you know, the ideas that are important to us right now. So I think that's good for the community.
Listen here, I'm telling you, we can go on for a long time. This is what I need you to do so we can keep on going. You need to watch, subscribe, follow, lock into what we're doing, because trust me, we got more. Listen, make sure that you go ahead and check out the premiere of my show, The Pulse of the People. This Saturday. It's going to be off the hook. Make sure you watch it. Check out New Kingdom TV. Big shouts to our creator, our visionary, Dr. Duckett.